Hey YouTube, how the heck are we doing? It is Foul Play here, and today for this modern league we're going to be taking a deck created by Boomerang, who piloted it to a 32nd place in a modern challenge. It's a pretty interesting Bant list on Bogles, and interestingly enough, it's not utilizing either the elementals or Force of Negation, which well, things I've been very passionate about in the past. Um, Instead, we have the appearance of Light Paws, Fluffy Emperor's Voice. Um, so this is controversially Core Spirit Dancer 2.0. So when an aura enters the battlefield under your control, if you cast it, you may search your library for an aura card with mana value less than or equal to that aura with a different name than it. Attach it to Fluffy Paws and then shuffle your library. Um, so it's an ETB trigger. It's not a cast trigger. It can only be attached to Light Paws, and obviously it doesn't go infinite with card draw triggers or anything like that. It's just excellent value. So we've also got Core Spirit Dancer here. You know what she does. Yep. Other than that, we've got the inclusion of 2 Prismatic Ending, 1 Slip in the back, and with the Aura Suite, our Boomerang has actually gone for 2 Staggering Insight instead of the play set that I usually go on about. We've also got the inclusion of 2 Spirit Mantle, 2 Griff Spoon, and just the 3 Hyena Umbra. The land base is quite different to what I'm used to as well. We've got like a total of 9 fetch lands, I believe, with the Flooded Strand, the Windswept Heath, and the Marsh Flats. We've got 3 quick lands with the Razor Verge Thicket and the Seachrome Coast, 4 shocks with the Temple Garden and Hallowed Fountain. No copies of Breeding Pool, so I guess he's really wanting to get that double white off of 2 mana sources. Just a 1 of basic planes, and then also a 2 of the Horizon Canopy. So no main deck beside you. There is one of them in the sideboard, and again, this is a pretty interesting looking sideboard. We've got one of Path to Exile, Pithing Needle, 2 Stubborn Denial. So that's all the counter magic in the deck, just the 2 Stubborn Denial. Inclusion of Dranith. I'm assuming this is for text flashcards back. I'm not sure if it's useful against the Yawgmoth death. I'd need to read the terminology, the term on Eldritch Evolution. Gaddock Teague, big lover of that. I think it's pretty decently placed at the moment. We've also got Hushbringer, Lavinia, and Sanctifier. So Graveyard Hate, particularly targeted towards the Murktide decks. I think this is a pretty cool inclusion. I'm looking forward to running it. Alright, match number 1, Lost the Darrell against Oink Mage. Alright, so this hand, we're on the draw. Opponent keeping 7. Our only creature is Core Spirit Dancer, we can do better. Alright, this is definitely better. We'll go ahead and keep this one. I might just bottom the Spirit Mantle. Just in case our opponent has a Thoughtseize effect, we might be able to cast the Scout as a secondary creature. Alright, Blood Crypt into Mishra's Bauble. Cracking that Mishra's Bauble. And they did target me with the Bauble. Into Hardcast Ragavan. And they know about the Prismatic Ending. Alright, so let's go ahead and shock this one in. We'll play our Bogle and pass back. Opponent getting in with those attacks. We won't block. If I had a green mana source, I might actually consider it. So our opponent's running black, so that could be problematic. They could have hand disruption coming our way. Opponent found the Hyena Umbra off the Ragavan, and hopefully that thins us towards land, so we can make that land drop. Ledger Shredder, okay, so looks like Grixis, Grixis Murktide, and he's going for the Hyena Umbra. Not bad. Gets that Surveil, the Convey, sorry. Oh, and he's pumping up Ragavan. Alright, well, we could really do with some mana right now. We did just brick on it. Look, I'm just going to go ahead and remove the Ragavan at the minute, and then we can just pass the turn. Hope to hit our land. We are able to resolve our spells. We're obviously going to be in a very good spot. Is he going to dash? Okay. One Crocs is not too bad. Actually, that could be incorrect. It could be correct to discard the scout there. Mish's Boggle targeting us. And attacks in. Hey, look. That's what I'm talking about. Alright, opponent shouldn't be able to kill us next turn. So going for Temple Gun, dealing that bit of damage to ourselves. Oh, that works for both players. I thought Legislate Shredder only worked for the player when the player who cast it activated it. That's pretty interesting. Alright. So we're going to get some attacks in there. We can't block our opponent's creature anyway. As long as we dodge Counterspell, we'll be able to resolve Daybreak Coronet and we'll be a happy camper. Alright, there's the attacks. Hitting in for 4. We are on 6. Alright, opponent does not have double blue. Hopefully this resolves. Oh, Drown in the Lock? Wow, that's bad beats. Alright, we'll get our attack in there, and hopefully they can't Lightning Bolt face or can't buff the Shredder twice. Death Shadow, wow, okay. So that's what the black is there for. That is terrifying. Razor Edge Thicket. Alright, well... let's go ahead and concede. Our opponent, we can pump our creature up to an 8/8, but our opponent will just block and that will give them information. We're dead to flying on Crackback. Alright, cards I'm liking the look of include Sanctifier, Path to Exile, and Stubborn Denial. So I think maybe Light Paws we could trim on, just because of Legend Rule, and we are bringing in some creatures. I'm not in love with Slip Out the Back here. It's not very good defensively. We can't phase out and then block creature, so that's not going to happen. Other than that, the trims are looking difficult to me. We definitely want to keep our evasion. Flying helps us block their flyers. Spirit Mantle helps us get past Death Shadow. Could be a consideration to trim Spirit Mantle so that we could go underneath our opponent a little bit, but I think that's maybe being a little bit too reactive, particularly on the play. These cuts are pretty difficult here. Let's go ahead and trim the Light Paws out. Sorry, Fluffy Commander. And after that, maybe a Hyena Umbra. Alright, we'll go ahead and submit that. Opponent showing a Gigantha Companion. Don't believe that we saw that in the first game, so... I wonder what that means that they sided out. Maybe they sided out Counterspell. I'm unsure. Yep, we'll go ahead and keep this hand though. Perhaps a little bit too much interaction, but you know, that could be handy. If our opponent Ragavan's here, we can kill Ragavan plus play Grissburn. That's definitely not a bad place to be. And then that will set us up for a nice turn 3 Coronet. Opponent again targeting us. Like a little bit concerned about Edict effects here. Oh, that's not a bad one. Good to see Rancor joining the party. Alright, goodbye Ragavan. I'm gonna go ahead and play out the Grispoon here over the Rancor. Just a little bit better against like a Thoughtseize effect. I don't want them taking my evasion. So here's Iok, yeah. So obviously they're taking Daybreak Coronet, but if they have two of them, I'd prefer to have the flying ready to go. Alright, so we draw another land source. We'll just keep hitting on in the air. Hopefully Death Shadow doesn't come down. We do have answer to one Death Shadow. They do know about the answer. They can continue to be land screwed. We'll have all the time in the world to do what we need to. And there's the Dragon's Rage Chandler. Hey look, Ethereal Armor is a pretty good one. Let's go ahead and attack for 7 in the air. It should be mostly lethal. I don't see too much value to killing Dragon's Rage Channeler, but I don't see any point in leaving it on the board. Opponent could interact with our hand also. So I think that's just GG. Expressive Iteration, alright. Show us that exiled card. Not sure if it shows. Oh no, he conceded before we got the information. Son of a gun. So I think it's unlikely that our opponent will have have cards like Engineered Explosives. They have a lot of 1-drops themselves. So an effect like Totem Armor might not be the best. They could still have something like an Edict effect though, given the black. They could have Liliana. They could have Diabolic Edict or whatever the instant speed version of that is. I think being cautious, maybe bringing Slip out the back in could be good. We're also seeing our opponents got discards, so keeping multiple creature hands could be strong. Just going to trim on a Hyena Umbra and get back into it. Okay, no creature hand. Gigantha showing again. There's no Liliana because they've got Gigantha, but they could have other effects. We'll go ahead and keep this. We lose to turn 1 Thoughtseize. Bottom 1 Daybreak. Mana Light hand. It's better to have the cheap auras. Oh no, he's tapped for black. Rip. Alright, well maybe we pog and draw what we need, but likely we're just gonna lose to Thoughtseize. I'll leave my Windswept Teeth uncracked for a while here. Prismatic Ending, yep. Cool, beautiful. Bad beats, guys. We'll go ahead and take one. We find the Bogle. Alright, that's pretty good. We'll go Hallowed Fountain. We do have the Curious Obsession in hand. Pass back to our opponent. They are also land screwed, so we could have a contest here. Oh, opponent. Yeah, that... I mean, you get some triggers here, and that's all nice. You might be able to grow and get an aggressive attack. But damage to themselves? I'm assuming that was draw for turn as well. Might not have been. They take the Daybreak Coronet. Very logical. Land? Not land. Leaving both on blocks. Alright. They're playing for Death Shadow here. They're playing for Death Shadow. Hyena Umbra is our best line. We could give flying too. This allows them to misplay with the double block though. Alright. Opponent shocks in that Blood Crypt. Hits their land. Triggers. Alright, that's them tapped out for turn. So we'll go ahead and discard the Grispoon. Opponent looking to deny the Curious Obsession here. Yeah, look, let's go ahead and play it before they potentially get a discard, and we'll force a chump block. The battle of like mana screw here is wild. Opponent broke the mana screw first. Let's see if that can help them back into it or not. Oh, and they had another land. Okay, that could spell trouble. We do have a significant life lead, but Death Shadow plus discard could cause issues. Okay, opponent gets that Watery Grave out. Fetch Shock. Could be indicative of Drown and Lock being a counterspell. Expressive Iteration. Wow, they must be in real trouble. Opponent Expressive Iteration into Mish's Bobble and pass to us. Wow, we hit our green mana, so we have the Gravy, we have Lethal, and our opponent is not able to block that. So, flying and GG's. Alright, we're taking down those Murktide decks, even even against the odds of losing our creature to turn 1 Thoughtseize. Not bad at all. Oh, never mind. Opponent instant speeds the Mish's Bobble to give flying. We're going to put him to 3. We're going to draw it to card. We'll take that. And there's one more turn in this one. There's the concession. Good games. Alright, match number 2. Won the Darrell versus a Boy Triton. We're versing another Gigantha deck here. This hand does not have a hexproof creature and it does not have totem armor, so I'm going to go ahead and mulligan. This looks a lot better. Let's keep and bottom a land. Alright, so we'll lead on Hallowed Fountain. We'll go ahead and get our Temple Garden, and we won't let our opponent know about the additional colours just yet. And there's a Blood Crick into Ragavan. Alright, well this is looking pretty good for us. We'll just get in for 5, play Daybreak Coronet, and that should be GG against a Ragavan build. Alright, here's the attack. Opponent finds Curious Obsession. Plays Expressive Iteration. Still holding off on that land drop for now, and concedes to us. Okay, so another Grixis Ragavan deck, or Grixis Murktide deck. So Sanctify, Path, probably Stubborn Denial, maybe not. Stubborn Denial could be good to fight over resolving a spell like Daybreak Coronet. Let's just go without the Stubborn Denial for now. I'm also going to trim some Light Pores, and we'll keep the slip in the back, so go with that. No lander, opponent is keeping 7 cards, we'll mulligan. And again. And this is a keep. Alright, pray for no Thoughtseize. Alright, so we can probably get rid of Rancor. I think maybe after that is get rid of Curious Obsession, and we'll keep Staggering plus Boom. There's the Thoughtseize, unlucky. We'll see if we can get lucky like last game. Alright, land drop so far. Opponent plays and cracks for Watery Grave. Hits up the Croxer. I'll discard the known land here. Lose some life. And land in tapped. Find the Spirit Mantle. Not very helpful. So opponent literally did nothing past the turn. We draw a Core Spirit Dancer. I'm going to hold off on playing that until we can cast an Aura same turn, so until we hit the 3rd land. My guess is he's just holding up counter magic right now. Pretty interesting. Alright, here comes the Shadow. Plus counter mana. Alright, well I think time is running out. We keep drawing auras instead of creatures, so we'll try jamming this one. We'll see what happens. Alright, and we'll concede to Drown. That's fine. On to sideboarding, is there anything we want to change? I'm pretty happy running it back. Choose to play. Alright, and that's one excellent looking 7. Let's go ahead and keep. The advantage of winning game 1 means we don't get completely wrecked by Thoughtseers. After getting wrecked by Thoughtseers on the draw, we still have a game on the play to go and get the job done. This is an excellent suite of auras in hand as well. Opponent leads on Dragon's Rage Channeler. Okay, I'm good with that. Bogles targeting us. So we draw a Path to Exile. I'll go ahead and fetch the Hallowed Fountain here. We don't have to... We don't have to give him the block here. We can have a 2-2. We can attack and guarantee card draw. And our opponent shouldn't be able to buff the Dragon's Rage Channeler instant speed here. And then next turn we can resolve the first strike. Holy moly, we have got some gas in hand. A Watery Grave, untapped. Oh wow, just holding up counter magic? Is that all we got? Alright, Misha's Bobble targeting us. Thoughtseize, I mean, yeah, pack it in, buddy. Pack it in. So they know the card on top of our library. And, yeah. Go right ahead. Thoughtseize away, buddy. Takes Daybreak Coronet, still wanting to play on. Interesting. Oh wow, Ethereal Armor? Hell yeah. Like, I'll just rip that one off the top. Don't mind if I do. I'll just finish this one up nice and easy. Alright, good games. Also, apologies on a lack of making videos recently. I've been pretty busy in life. Didn't get a chance to. But here we are, we're back again. Match number 3, lost the die rolls versus Bant. Good. Alright, this 7, no hexproof creature. Opponent keeping their 7. I think we look for a hexproof creature, though I would like to try Light Pause at least once this league. Nothing. Drop again. Alright, and we'll go ahead and keep this one. Bottom Hyena Umbra, and probably bottom the Griff Spoon here. I want to keep the second creature in case I'm against a Thoughtseize deck. Alright, Hammer Time. So this one could be rough. Blue-white Hammer Time. So I believe they play 1 reality chip. And possibly 1 counter spell as well, like a Spell Pierce. Although I don't think Spell Pierce is the one because no one plays that card these days. Playing the Ingenious Smith. Alright, enters the battlefield. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal an artifact among them. Put that into your hand. Whenever 1 or more artifacts enter this battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on it. Okay, there's the Thought Monitor. Plays Memnite. Alright, here comes the counters. This might actually be more of an Affinity deck than a Hammer Time deck. And I think that is quite helpful to us as well. Hopefully we hit mana. We don't hit mana. Alright. As long as we hit mana next turn, we're still in a decent spot. I'm going to leave up chump blockers. I believe at the moment my opponent is the beatdown. If we resolve Daybreak Coronet, we should just win. Opponent with the Portable Hull on our Hyena Umbra. That one hurts. Yikes, naturally drawn Shadow Spear as well. Okay, this one could be a rough one. Plays Relic, so maybe they're running out of gas, hopefully. Sure. And opponent gifts us the block on Esper Sentinel, so I'm going to go ahead and take that. We've got a second creature in hand. Anything to slow our opponent down. Ideal draw be maybe a Prismatic Ending or a land. Land is pretty good. Prismatic Ending would allow us to get rid of Portable Hull and get our aura back. I think at this point, let's go for Light Paws. Let's get him out there. We're far enough behind in this game. I think it's worth it. Yeah, they're reading. I hope they're terrified. So we can Spirit Mantle into Daybreak Corridor from Library. Attack for a little bit. Obviously vulnerable to removal. But then again, so our Hexproof creatures through the Shadow Spear. Oh my god, another portal hole. Rip. Note that our opponent could have done that to Bogle as well by activating Shadow Spear. So either way, I believe we made the correct line by playing the Light Paws, because that allows us to draw a land and Bogle plus Aura to block next turn. Either way though, we're in a very bad shape and probably going to lose this one. Alright, that's the plans. Alright, last hurrah. Let's see what we can muster. Opponent exiles his relic to draw a card. Here comes the attacks. I'll definitely block the Ingenious Smith with our pro creatures. I don't believe they have instant speed destroying enchantment. So, alright, so that bounces off. We get to untap. Now we're just dodging counter magic. Let's see. Play around Spell Pierce. And opponent taps, but he activates for a construct token. I'm okay with that. I have pro creatures. Alright, let's start to swing this one around. Trigger on the Urza Saga upkeep. And making another token. Opponent just gets a Mem Knight with the ability. That's kind of poggers. I guess they've already got their Shadow Spear and their Ether Spellbomb. Another Ingenious Smith. Okay. See what they find. This one. Another Thought Monitor. Oh man, poggers. He's reloading. He's gone deep. Alright, and opponent equips his Shadow Spear to his Construct token. Attacking all out. So if we block the Ingenious Smith, we save one more life. So that's the way we're going to go. I think we survive only just. Very scary next turn from our opponent on 1 health. Oh my goodness. We'll take it. And second main Seachrome Coast from the opponent. Alright, well we're drawing dead like a mofo here. So, yep, alright, that's going to be on to the next one. So, yeah, I think we're scared of a bit of what our opponent can do. I think the key here is to be quick and maybe a little bit interactive. That being said, I like the look of the sideboard cards beside you. Pithing Needle, Path to Exile, and Stubborn Denial. Stubborn Denial mostly for Portal Hole. That can save us a lot of trouble there. As for boards out, we're removing 1 Spirit Mantle. Pardon me. 1 Marsh Flats, 3 Light Paws, and 1 Starring Insight. We'll keep the Spirit Mantle. This is pretty light. I think we can do better than this. This is much better. We'll go ahead and keep this one. Snap, keep this one. Least valuable card. Probably Rancor. Could just be Curious Obsession. I really like all our cards. I think we just ditch Rancor, although reluctantly. Turn 1 Esper Sentinel. Alright, so we fetch the Hallowed Fountain, double equip and attack. Our opponent gets a draw trigger off Esper Sentinel. Draw Ethereal Armor, great. Also Grixis drawn for turn. Opponent plays the Urza Saga. Springleaf Drum. I'm okay with this so far. Another Esper Sentinel. Alright, well I think we just out-quality our opponent here. Portable Hole, damn. What are they going after? Ethereal Armor? I mean, that's okay with that. We got another one where that came from. Opponent's going to be drawing a lot of cards, but hopefully we can get there with aggro by dodging more of this. Ideal draw would be land. Not land. We're just going on the beatdown plan here. Oh damn, I missed a land drop that I could have played then. My mistake. That could come to cost us in future turns. That's pretty loose of me. Another portable hull coming out our opponent's ears. Taking Ethereal. And shocks in Hallowed Fountain. Wow! Holy dang, man. Can I like Maelstrom Pulse this rubbish? That's insane. I mean, the good news is, YouTube, they've only got one of these left in their deck. They can't decimate us too much further. We draw another Daybreak. And, additionally, we've got Stubborn Denial back up to support. Stop our opponent from interacting with us. Oh, here it comes. Metallic Rebuke. How about no opponent? Not gonna happen. Get out of town. Stubborn Denial coming in clutch. Wait, what? Oh, okay. Never mind. Stubborn Denial did not have Ferocity. So yeah, our opponent just gets to pay 1 mana and counter that. That's a shame. In hindsight, going for protection of Daybreak next turn would have been better. Potentially. Alright, opponent gets their Construct. It probably means Shadow Spear, and then they're probably going to equip that to one of their Esper Sentinels and start gaining life. Construct token is a big issue. Hopefully we draw a Prismatic Ending. Construct plus Shadow Spear, that is. Shadow Spear does cost 2 to equip, so they weren't able to equip at that turn. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and prevent this once. I probably should have played the Windswept Teeth and prevented it twice. I was just thinking about showing another Stubborn Denial, just posturing for that. I've just attacked into their Construct token. I'm a dingus. Okay. Well, this one's GG, but I think it was probably GG regardless at this point. Portable Hulls, just a little bit too OP. Sorry for the misplay. On to match 4. Alright, match 4. Won the die roll. We got this hand. It's a little land light, and we don't have any 1 mana auras. It's possible we can keep this. We can buff our creature with the slip out the back, but that's not the best line. We're really reliant on drawing land if we keep this. 3 hexproof creatures in hand as well. I think Mulligan's the play. This looks a lot better. I'll keep, I'll bottom a Scout, and we got some awesome card draw coming. Alright, opponent mulligan all the way to 5. Not sure what that means. Maybe they're a combo deck. Steam Vents into Crack. Maybe they're a Murktide deck. Sacred Foundry, Without Burn. Esper Sentinel. Could be Hammer Time, could be Affinity. Let's let our opponent draw 1 card off of this. And then the Curious Obsession can resolve for free. We got some 2 mana auras coming next turn. There is an argument to just play either Spirit Mantle or Staggering Insight, because if we hit a land next turn, then we can be a little bit more mana efficient. And here comes the Ragavan on the dash. Opponent only attacking with Ragavan, leaving Esper Sentinel on blocking duty. Finds a Slippery Bogle. Yep, that's not what you're looking for, opponent. We're all good with that. Emery, oh that's disgusting. I hate this card so much. blanks on the Emery, but our opponent is a Through the Breach deck. Okay, I'm kind of scared of that. I'm kind of petrified of that a little bit. Look, let's go ahead. We'll get our planes. We'll Spirit Mantle. We will not pay. We'll Bogle off the side as a blocker for our opponent's dashed Ragavans. Alright, Daybreak Coronet's a good find. If we resolve any aura next turn, then we have lethal damage on our opponent, and we're just going to look to try and avoid the combo. Opponent concedes. Too good. Alright, I'm having a lot of trouble finding our opponent's deck online. We're going to want the Sanctifier as Graveyard Hate, Stubborn Denial as Permission, and Dranith looks pretty good here as well, actually. We'll take out Fluffy Paws, Spirit Mantle, and a Gristburn. So looks like a pretty decent hand. We'll keep. Could potentially be more aggressive, but nothing to complain about. And opponent kept a 6. Well, that didn't take long. Turn 1 Engineered Explosives. Big yikes. Let's go ahead, start the deck thinning. See what we can. Land and pass from the opponent. Okay, well. I wonder what we can do here. We could play the Rancor to try and bait. Doesn't seem great. Let's just attack for 1. Or maybe we can post-combat an aura. Okay. I'll post-combat try the Rancor and see what response that invokes. This does mean our opponent can permanently get rid of our Rancor by popping the explosive right now. Alright, and there it is. Because Rancor never hit the battlefield, it's gone forever. We might be able to have a play with Stubborn Denial here. We'll see what our opponent does. Emery, lovely. I'm really not okay with that. We hit Scout, but our opponent can steal explosives on 1 with mana up for Stubby D. Yeah, this is bad. And I played the wrong land as well, which is even worse. Alright, we'll pass it back. Opponent gets the explosives back. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and concede. With explosives, we'll bring in Teague. There's no reason not to. And if we're bringing in Teague, we'll take out Core Spirit Dancer. Path to Exile might also be worth it. And for that, we might just remove Staggering Insight. So we've got Path to Exile and Prismatics as answers to Emery. Nope. Yeah, this is good. Keep. I mean, it's all creatures, but it's good. I think the upside's high enough on this one. We bottom slip in the back, and we'll keep the Stubborn Denial for Underworld Breach antics. I think Dranith would be the optimal creature to get out ASAP. Esper Sentinel. Cool. Curious Obsession isn't bad. Do we want to change strategy? We can change strategy. Pay the 1 mana. Find Hyena Umbra. Grinding Station. Uh-oh. That's one part of the lock for our opponent. Or the combo, I should say. Not really a lock. Alright, let's go ahead and attack. And then I think we play Dranith. Wow, opponent goes for blocks. Okay. I'm less scared of my opponent's combo now, so I think I still hold up Stubby D. Alright, opponent land and passes back to us. Alright, we'll just throw down Hyena Umbra, attack and see what we draw. I'm not scared of any instant speed creatures here. Opponent would tear on the Curious Obsession. That just happens. Second main, we'll play our Sanctifier and pass to our opponent. End step, brings in a land. Opponent passes to us without playing a land. I guess we'll drop a land and we'll just attack with some fiddly little creatures. And we take our opponent to 5, their turn. Opponent concedes. Awesome. 3 and 1, let's go. Alright, match number 5. Won the die roll. That's positive on die rolls. Versus Yu Mill. I'm going to mulligan this hand. It's very 2 mana heavy and it doesn't have a hexproof creature. We'll go to 5. Opponent mulled to 6. We're going to be going to 4 now. And opponent keeps a 6. I guess we'll keep a 4 with... we don't even have like a proper aura here. Stitch, Daybreak. I think we keep Core Spirit down, so we'll ditch Fluffy Paws. And probably ditch Slip out the back. Slip in the back. Land, pass, see what our opponent's up to. I haven't done an unfortunate run of like hands like that for a little while. Opponent plays Aether Spellbomb, which is like awkwardly decent here, into Core Spirit Dancer, so I think we might actually be wasting away the Spellbomb, which I'm sure is going to look very, very bizarre to our opponent at this early stage of the game. They might have us on like elementals or something, and that move would not make sense in that spot. I just fumbled through my turn, unfortunately. So we drew a Scout, which would have been pretty decent to play, or the Spirit Dancer. Our opponent is mana screwed at the moment, which is something though. I feel like we should be leaning on the Scout for our success, although that kind of makes me want to change my mind. Alright, we hit land. We'll go for it now. Grifsbane will get the immediate draw. If our opponent deals with it, Grifsbane will fall off to the graveyard. We'll be able to 4 mana or equip it to Scout pretty soon. Alright, opponent draws a card. We draw a card. Everything's fair and good. Memnite must have been their draw for the turn, which means they're still mana screwed. Very advantageous to the 4-card Bogle hand. And there's the portable hole, because, you know, like, why wouldn't they have it? Cool. Feels bad, man. And Forecast, okay, lovely. Oh, no, they're no longer mana screwed. Alright, we have a ball game. We need to start drawing pretty hot because this is pretty bullshit at the moment. Hopefully we can hit like a Staggering Insight into some flying or something and get something real happening. And we do not. Damn, that's a real shame. If we hadn't rushed through our turn, we probably like accidentally skipped through our turn. We might have had a better board state with the Scout down and then the Core Spirit Dancer helping to draw auras onto it. At the moment, we're in a pretty weak spot with few cards in hand. Our opponent has a lot of cards in hand, and we know they're actually spells because they were mana screwed early. No attacks from the opponent. Oh, hello. Urza's come to join the party. That's terrifying. 7/7. And a Thought Monitor. Now their artifacts tap for mana, so they can pretty much just dump their whole hand. Looks like they're activating Urza instead. Nope, they're playing second Urza. That is disgusting. Oh my goodness. Alright, we get to untap. Like, our opponent had a pretty good turn, but you're not ready for this opponent. Alright, concede. Cool, so we have more portable holes to worry about, which is not ideal. Path to Exile I feel like is good. I haven't seen too much which makes me want Stubborn Denial, although dealing with Portable Hole would be nice. Opponent probably has Engineered Explosives. No, but a bit too much synergy with his small stuff. His Esper Sentinels and as such. So, interestingly, Drenith will stop the 4 or 5 mana activation on Urza, because that is you may play the exiled card without paying its mana cost, and it's also assurance against Engineered Explosives. I think we're definitely bringing it in. I also think bringing in Gadok Tig is probably worth it, so unfortunately we're going to be trimming out these fluffy paws over here. Probably Spirit Mantle, and after that is a Thought Process and a half, 1 Marsh Flats. I'm going to get rid of 1 Daybreak Coronet, just because it's weak to things like Portable Hole and large amounts of interaction, which our opponent has main deck and likely more of sideboard. We'll keep this hand, though it's pretty weak against Portable Hole. If we draw another land, beside you is actually interaction, so maybe it can get there. Maybe. Opponent turn 1's Esper Sentinel Memnite, which is very unlucky. It seems like they have it every game. We draw Grispoon, so going on to beside you Drenith, we can't afford to wait around for another land. The opponent's deck is way too much card advantage to allow that to happen for a long time. Portable Hole, and we've lost our beside you. That really stinks. Hopefully we can hit like a Prismatic Ending or something here, but that's in a very bad spot for us now. We hit land. Cool. Super unimpressive. It's possible we should be cycling that during our turn instead of our opponents. If we hit a Bogle, we can play it off the extra land. Opponent attacks. Alright, we'll cycle this one. Staggering Insight, not what we're looking for. Alright, we'll play a core and see if it lives. Probably not. Alright, opponent end turn makes Construct. During his turn makes another in response to the Saga trigger. And finds Shadow Sphere. Thought Monitor, okay. Well, Core Spirit Dancer lives for now. We'll block 1 point of damage, take 9, go to 6. Maybe we can just draw really, really well and get there. Maybe. And we brick We can't cast any more cards. We can't block him. Okay, cool. GG. So that was sort of an unfortunate way to end the league there. Mostly, it feels like the deck's in a pretty decent spot. We might have got a little bit lucky in the first game or two to actually go and get there. But then I feel like we were supremely unlucky against that final opponent, and maybe to another extent against the red-white opponent that also had Portable Hull. I feel a lot like if we had Force of Vigor in the sideboard, that would help a lot with dealing with Portable Hull. As a card, we'd be able to get rid of a green card from our hand when we do it, assuming we're paying the alternate cost, and then potentially get back 2 auras, which is pretty important. I am very, very upset I did not get to trial our fluffy poor leader here. Fluffy Paul McGee. I'm very upset about that, indeed. We sort of resolved him once, and the game was pretty well over at that point, unfortunately. As for the rest of the deck, I think potentially Core Spirit Dancer is in a better spot than it has been in a long time. For quite a while, I shied away from it for Invisible Stalker in my Bant variants. At the moment, the format seems extremely powerful, but a little bit slower than when I quit like 8 months ago. For that reason, and there's lots of card advantage stuff running around, like Expressive Iteration. There's now that Riveteer's Charm as well. But yeah, I feel like Core Spirit Dancer can make a comeback. And I feel like I want to keep trialing Light Paws. Perhaps the 3 Core Spirit Dancers, 2 Fluffy Paws is a better split there. But that's something you'll only find out with testing. As for the rest of the main deck, I'm not 100% sold on on Boomerang's mana base here. It definitely dealt a lot less damage to me than what my traditional mana base has dealt to me. But there was a lot of times where it would have been really handy to have that double blue to play out a Curious Obsession and then hold up the Stubborn Denial. And it was very, very painful not being able to do that, particularly when this is your counter magic card. It could also be possible that it's worth looking at some number of Force of Negations, either main deck or sideboard. I kind of enjoyed the high aura count in the deck as well. We've got 25 auras here. Prismatic Ending was better for me than what it had been previously when I tested. And Slip Out the Back, I'm getting the impression it's just a little bit too cute. As I could be wrong. It does answer a lot of problems. Maybe it's a sideboard card. It seems like slightly too cute for me currently though. As for the sideboard, my opponent, Boomerang had some pretty interesting choices. I think Sanctifier in deck as Graveyard Hate is a pretty interesting call, and I rate it. Obviously, there's Endurance, there's Rest in Peace. I've spoken previously about multiple Rest in Peace being bad, but maybe one being really, really good. Sanctifier sort of falls into that same zone. It's an extra creature you can have against blue-red Murktide decks. It's pretty impressive. Lavinia is probably for like Rhino Cascade decks, Living End. That seems sort of reasonable. As a 2-of, it's probably not too bad either. Obviously doubles up against Tron, but I think Tron sort of disappeared a little bit at the moment. Gadok Teague, again, good against Tron, good against Engineered Explosives. I feel like we saw a very strange part of the modern men game today. Like, we saw 2 Urza decks. That seems pretty crazy to me in a sample size of 5 games. Hushbringer, I'm not really a firm believer of at the moment. Absolutely crucial card if you're versing decks like Hate Bears, or spirits. Very, very good against those decks that have Skyclave Apparition. Has applicability as well against elementals. I feel like you can probably just race elementals a lot of the time, or maybe have more Path to Exiles, which can exile problem cards for you. Other than that, I mean, Basagi is pretty great. I think probably there's an argument to have it in the main deck, as I've been doing. I don't think it's worth a sideboard slot, at least not in the current metagame. And that's going to be mostly it, guys. Let me know what you think of Boomerang's list down in the comments section below. It was a lot of fun to try out, and we did pretty well. And in 3-1, and almost got there in that last game, apart from some pretty horrible luck on our end. If there's something maybe I'm not hugely sold on with this list, it's a little heavy on the 2-drops. Maybe removing 2 of these cards for more 1-mana auras to make it more aggressive, or potentially even just having the full playset of Staggering Insight, because we see that card has been like absolutely amazing in the past. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Until I see you next time, yeah, fight the good fight, keep kicking it with Bogles. See you later.